Yes. Matt Lockwood 69.
Matt Lockwood 69. All right, well, we're live. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Definitive Rankings of Everything, episode 14. Almost legal with our good friend Dustin Nickerson. What's up, Dustin?
Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me for whatever this is.
Yeah, I'm excited you're here. I'm really excited you're here.
Happy to be here.
Dustin is we met in San Diego along with Ehsan. Dustin's like top dog there. He's been like a comedy idol of mine since I started.
Oh, that's the first nice thing you've ever said to me about comedy. That's really nice.
At least you got one.
Yeah. Yeah, be happy with that, all right?
Oh, I had no idea you even liked me.
Damn, I hate when people say that.
Why are comedians so cruel to each other?
I don't know.
I've always liked you. I never knew.
Well, we're glad you're here. I might not like you after this app, depending on how our lists go.
Yeah.
But yeah, you picked dads. Is there a reason you picked dads?
I felt like of the things that you would discuss, and we might have any amount of crossover, this might be the only thing that we have in common. And besides comedy, it was like, hey, you know about dads, right? I know kind of about them. I am one. It was on brand, and it felt like maybe we might have 4 topics we could talk about, and this one is the only thing I think we could come up with 10 items on.
Yeah. For me, coming up with my list was tough. I wasn't really sure what my parameters were going to be, or if they had to be a good dad or not, or just an iconic dad, or I don't know. How do you guys feel?
When I first started thinking about it, I started thinking about good dads, and then I was like, well, no, this is not the list. The list is top 10 dads. So who are the people most famous for being dads?
Yeah.
So I definitely have some very not good dads on here.
Yeah, I kind of feel that way.
One terrible dad.
Yeah, I have one bad one, but I think all the rest are generally good people.
I have 3 terrible dads.
Okay.
Like terrible people.
Okay.
Oh wow. Mine are all good dads, but maybe there might be some on my list that some would consider good and others would consider bad. So maybe there's a little gray area.
Sure. Well, with that, let's get started. Dustin, you want to start us off? Who was your number one dad of all time?
My number one dad of all time, because we were saying could be fictional, non-fictional, right? It could. My number one dad of all time, I picked Uncle Phil.
All right.
Who, not even in the title dad, that good of a dad. You don't even have to parameter him as a dad. It's not even in his title. He just you consider all of his dad stuff, and he did it with his idiot nephew. We didn't even have to care for at all. He gives to me, a measure of a good dad is what you give to the extended, who needs you to be a dad, not just your kids. And he gave it to the extended family, a lot of wisdom there. He's also funny. He's also does that good line of disciplinarian / kind. He has a good job. He was really good at pool for some reason. He was
Yeah.
So you knew he had cool past life dad. And then when Will's dad wasn't there for him, he was there to be there in all the tender moments as well. So my number one dad is Uncle Phil.
I like
that.
I initially I was gonna leave him off the list because his name is Uncle Phil, but then I was like, no, he's such a good dad, he has to be on the list.
He made my list. He made my list too. He's lower than 1, but he's on my list for sure.
Yeah.
There you go.
I have him in my top 5. I have him at number 4.
Who do you have as number 1?
My number 1 is God.
Mine too, bro. Come on, Godfather, baby.
Yeah,
that's my number. That's my number 3.
That's my number 2. That's my number 2.
Okay.
God gotta be number 1.
My number 1 dad is because to be a dad you have to have a kid, right? That's the number 1 requirement to being a dad.
Yeah.
The basic requirement. And the man most famous for having the most kids, my number 1 dad is Genghis Khan.
Damn.
He's on my list.
Damn.
Bad person, but just the sheer numbers alone, you got to put him on the top 10.
Oh,
But
Oh, it was tens of millions he killed too, right? How many of his own did he kill?
I don't know about that. Well, like I said, it was very much. I very much had to like block the words "good" out of my mind to be like, all right, let's look at dads objectively, because not all dads are good dads.
yeah, but I also think part of being a dad is you have to handle the responsibilities of being a dad. I think that's important. You can't just have kids because you can have kids and not be a dad. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Right.
So I don't know how he raised his kids. I don't know if he did at all. I know he has a lot of offspring.
Definitely some of them. Because like what they led the empire for a while, so he picked and choose which ones he raised for sure.
You know what he did with
Matt, your logic on Genghis Khan is my logic on why God the Father's not number one.
Damn. Okay.
Because I'm like, well, one, you did sacrifice your closest one, your beloved. You gave and so I don't know that Jesus would put God the Father as number one. I would want to hear Jesus's take on that over my own take. And also, there's probably a lot of people, present company excluded, I don't know, but who would say your argument about Genghis Khan not being super involved in all of his children's lives. Well, some might say that of God the Father. They might say,
yeah, that's
like,
true.
You made me, but where you been, God the Father?
Yeah. Damn. Yeah, that's a good point.
I mean, but I think Jesus would say God the Father is number one.
Yeah, just because he's scared of him.
He loved his dad so much he died. Yeah.
Yeah.
He wasn't showing Joseph the same respect.
Yeah, I mean, he did ask not to go to the cross, though.
Yeah.
He did say, like, if there's a different route, this would be cool, Dad. And then
God was like, I brought you in this world and I can take you out.
Yeah, but I will say one thing about being a dad, though, it's kind of taking you out of your comfort zone and making you do things that you aren't comfortable with for the greater good of yourself and everybody. You know what I mean? Let's say Jesus never goes to the cross and he doesn't ascend to be Jesus who he is today.
Yeah,
he's just some guy who had some cool ideas.
Yeah, tell that to Genghis Khan's kids. Tell him.
Khan?
Damn. God versus Genghis Khan is our first discussion here, which is I don't know if this discussion has ever happened before, to be honest.
And you probably didn't see me going on the anti-God rant. I'm just trying.
No,
Dustin, I really thought I would say God and you would say God and we'd be fine with our number one.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be, sympathetic to all the viewers and their perspective.
Yeah.
Well,
sure.
at the end of the day, right? It's like, so for me, God is number two. Because he's the God to us all, he's the Father to us all. But more specifically, because he's Jesus' dad, right? Jesus is the Son of God. But not like I said, we've come across this argument before. Not everyone believes that. Even the people who believe in Jesus and God in that way still don't look at Jesus. So for me, that's why he got knocked down to number two. Everyone knows Genghis Khan had kids. There's not a billion people out there that was like, no, those are just the prophets of Genghis Khan. Like, there's not those are the kids.
I would say that it is more undisputed that Uncle Phil is a better dad than God. As far as the public sphere goes, most people are more commonly accepting of that. I'm not saying I agree or disagree with it. I'm just saying the general. Now, if this were our number one sons list, I bet Jesus is Mariano Rivera goes on first ballot number one.
Yeah, I think easily.
So.
Number one sons list, Jesus gets the nod.
But
well, okay, if we're gonna so we have God, Genghis Khan, and Uncle Phil. I think
this is a good top three right here.
I think there's another person that can be entered into this discussion, and I think that's Danny Tanner.
Mm-hmm.
The white.
I had him at number 9.
The white Uncle Phil.
I had him lower. I had him lower. I just think that the three you just mentioned right there, because there's a bunch of people I would have over Danny Tanner that I want to bring up.
All right, I didn't know you guys didn't care about Danny Tanner.
I
think we gotta stop looking at God as just Jesus' father and more as the heavenly Father. You know what I mean? He's all of our dads.
Yeah.
But how does everybody feel about that? If he's all of our dads, there's a lot of people, that aren't happy with their dad to child relationship right now.
And what I would say to you like that is there's a bunch of people that are unhappy with their earthly fathers, but that's still their dad.
It's the same thing with Genghis Khan, though.
Yeah. Well, the thing with Genghis Khan and any of these dads is your relationship with your earthly dad or the book is closed on Uncle Phil. We know everything that he has presented. The book on God still wide open. Still, like how are you going to feel on the deathbed about him? How are you going to feel in whatever the afterlife may be? There's still a lot of details to feel that one out. The jury is not settled.
We're still waiting for him to come back from the store.
Yeah.
He went to get milk and cigarettes a while ago and promised he'd come back, and he hasn't yet. So yeah,
You say that, and I think he's just waiting for us to come home.
I'm kind of with Dustin on that. No, yeah, he's just waiting for us to die so we can join him at the store.
He's just waiting for us to come home, bro. We're out here on Earth doing all our bullshit.
I'm kind of starting to lean as a God. I mean, I still do think he should be number one, but I like the Uncle Phil argument, and I like the Genghis Khan argument.
I'm okay with Uncle Phil over Genghis Khan just for the sake of us not being terrible people.
I don't think Genghis Khan can be number one on the all-time dads list.
Yeah, I guess that does seem like we're setting the list off with a crazy tone.
It's just who has the most kids. Let's put the Octodad on, John Upton or whatever his name is.
Yeah, just sheer numbers.
Peyton Manning or Phillip Rivers.
I do think for the sake of the list that Uncle Phil is a great way to start.
Yeah. And it's just such a point that his name is Uncle Phil, and he might be the number one dad on our list. What a G.
Right. Yeah, it's kind of like how Bo Jackson might be like one of the best football players ever, and you're like, oh, and he also did baseball. You're like, oh, so you just do all of it good.
Yeah, you're just good.
Yeah, you're just good. Because overall good.
I mean, he's a great dad to his kids. He's a great dad to not his kids.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I like to think that Morgan, like at the end of life when we're all reached eternal peace, and we've come to grips with our mortality here and our existence forever, then we're like, yeah, God the Father, number one. But I wasn't sure along the way. I wasn't sure. We do this later.
I had my doubts. I had my doubts.
Question. I didn't know if I didn't know. It was you, Uncle Phil. So God the Father's my number 3 actually. So.
But God will understand that Uncle Phil should be number one. He'll get it.
God made Uncle Phil.
He's such a good dad. He understands why we didn't put him number one.
We'll revisit this list when we're like 80. That's what we'll do. We'll revisit the list and be like, all right, how do we feel about this now?
Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and put Unc number one.
Unc number one, baby.
I like that.
Wow.
What a way to start off too. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Just the conversation to get there was great.
Yeah. So now let's talk God and Genghis Khan.
Wait, who did you have as number 2, Dustin?
I had Daddy Warbucks, who is not technically a dad for a lot of his, and really just he goes from not dad to maybe the best dad ever in like a split second when he brings in Annie and all of the orphans. He adopts an entire orphanage.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I didn't hear about that either.
The Annie storyline, right? With we don't need to go too into the details, but he takes in Annie, pleads with him to not just adopt Annie, but he's so loaded that he adopts an entire orphanage. I mean, to take in one orphan is quite a thing, quite an ordeal. But I mean, the paperwork alone is a lot to take in the entire orphanage, and he was kind of a contrast to me. To Uncle Phil, who didn't even have it in the names, but he had Daddy Warbucks, but it wasn't like Dad Warbucks. It was Daddy Warbucks.
Daddy, yeah. It helps. It does help.
I like that.
Yeah. So I got Daddy Warbucks as my 2.
I've only ever seen the Black Annie, so I don't really know the real story.
Yeah, I had no idea who he was and then when you said Annie, I was like, oh, that's the guy's name.
Yeah.
Daddy Warbucks.
You knew the name though. Yeah, you knew the name.
Yeah.
It is a famous name.
I don't know. I in my mind, I feel like Annie might be like a little bit like generation wise. I think we've passed it.
Yeah. Well, I'll accept that I'm older than you guys. Yeah. I received that.
That was such a nice way to say you're old.
And then I married a woman who was very into musicals, and she may or may not have starred in Annie as a young child. So Annie has been consumed in my home more than most.
Okay.
I would say that like Annie has been watched in my home the way that like a bunch of single comics have consumed like Joker, probably like that.
Looking at you, Matt.
All right.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy to have Daddy Warbucks further down on the collective list, but he's my number 2.
Yeah. All right. What did you guys have? Morgan?
I had Cliff Huxtable. I know. I did. Hey, look, we were talking strictly about the character, not the person that played him. We got to separate the art from the artist.
Fair.
And Cliff Huxtable, that's America's dad.
Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, because I was thinking about it too. It was, who is America? Bill Cosby was known as America's dad.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, what better lesson to teach everyone that, like, even the people you think you know can be absolute monsters.
True.
Yeah.
It's like the final lesson of all of that is like, bro, you gotta like, monsters come in every shape and size. It's not what you think. It's not how you think they look.
Yeah. But it is, I mean, we would be putting Cliff Huxtable on the list and not Bill Cosby. So he's kind of
I don't even know Bill Cosby. I don't know who that is. That man doesn't exist. Huxtable, that's my guy.
I think that's a good sort of compromise on, instead of putting Bill Cosby on there.
Yeah.
But I do think Cliff Huxtable kind of deserves to be on this list for sure.
I mean, as far as America's Dad, I never watched The Cosby Show. For me, America's Dad is Homer Simpson.
Homer's up there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Homer was, if we're putting Homer, we're putting bad dads on the list, though.
Was he a bad dad, though?
I mean, he still got Genghis Khan just sitting there.
Yeah. No, I didn't put Genghis Khan on my list. So Homer pretty routinely choked Bart. There was definitely some child abuse.
That was back in the day, though. That's when it was okay.
Alcoholic.
He was an alcoholic. The only reason they had a dog is because he was a degenerate gambler.
He's America's dad.
I mean, he's certainly iconic and representative, but we are definitely stepping into the bad father category.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Speaking of bad,
Homer, I feel like he represents most dads because he was, like, if you look at all the stats, bad dad. But he had his moments.
Oh, yeah, for sure had his moments.
He meant well. Yeah. He meant well.
And he's relatable.
I think that's all you really need to be a good dad, is just have your moments.
Yeah. That's why The Simpsons is so popular, is because all the characters are so relatable to American society and stuff. I think a lot of dads are like Homer Simpson. I know. Well, I don't want to say that in a live show. I just think Homer might be a good dad.
I think that definitely, it does speak to how low the bar is for a good father.
Yeah. I mean, chat right now has just said, aren't all dads alcoholics? So, like,
the bar is so low. They're like, he loved them.
I'll say this. I know this particular member of the chat, and you're projecting a bit.
Hey, in 30 seasons of his show, he was nice a couple times, and that's what it really means to be a dad, right?
Oh, it really counts. He kept the fucking roof over their head.
Yeah.
Made sure they have food on the table. Took multiple jobs to make sure they were able to eat. Marge never had to work a day in her life. She probably did. There's 30 seasons of the show. I'm sure she had a job once or twice.
She went and worked at the plant for a while.
I do, yeah.
And Homer did not take that well, because he was kind of a bad husband too. But again, we're like,
bad husband.
They went on a date every once in a while. Remember that one time? The bar is so low for fathers. Because, like, if you took that behavior and it was a mom, you'd be like, that's a terrible mom. That is just one of the, like, but we're like, he might be the number 3 dad of all time. If we're talking just fictional dads, Huxtable was a way better dad than Homer.
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Because of everything in and around Huxtable, he did make my list, but he was like number 10.
Yeah.
But if it wasn't everything around it, you'd be like, I mean, probably better than Uncle Phil, honestly. Yeah.
He really season 8 Game of Thrones did, where he went from the top thing of all time to be like, ooh, this is gonna make the top 10.
Yeah.
If he didn't fuck up, he could have been in conversation about being a better dad than God. But he, life comes at you fast,
Good point.
Yeah, that's funny.
I think
God should be number 2.
Yeah, I think we put God here.
I think God's 2.
I think we go God too.
Yeah.
Okay, so our 1 and 2 is Uncle Phil and then God.
Yeah.
All right. So number 3, I mean, we've talked about Genghis Khan. We've talked about Homer.
Talked about Cliff.
Talked about Cliff.
I have Darth Vader.
I have Vader on mine too.
He did make mine.
The bar
For number
couldn't be lower.
I mean, not a good dad. Not a good dad at all. But an iconic dad.
Absolutely.
No, he's actually a terrible dad because he almost let his son fuck his daughter.
Oh, yeah.
Or a good dad, depending on how you look at it.
Live from Alabama comes the definitive rankings of everything.
Some people have hot sisters, you know?
No, he was just trying to keep that Jedi Force line strong, you know?
Yeah. Pure blood.
Really iconic. Of the dads, Darth Vader has the most famous reveal line of all time.
You'll always remember whose dad he is.
Yeah,
exactly. That's true.
Also, how many other dad reveals can you think of?
Outside of like Maury Povich, you know, like
yeah, I guess Maury.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I was watching like 3 a day for like 4 years of my life in college.
Yeah, but those are like, they could be dads. I feel like at the time it was just out of nowhere, like an out of nowhere dad reveal. That's pretty wild.
Yeah. Crazy.
Yeah,
I will say this: Darth Vader, without a doubt, we gotta give a shout out to the deadbeats. He's without the best one. With that doubt.
Well, he redeems himself at the end, right? He comes back around at the end.
Yeah.
So it's even it makes it even less of a deadbeat, I guess, is that he finally comes around.
Yeah, and you do try and keep in mind in your empathetic moments, you know, he was jacked up for a reason, you know. Mom murdered, all that kind of stuff. He had a hard go, you know, didn't win all the big pod races until the end, you know. And his dad wasn't there for him when he won that pod race.
Yep.
Oh.
Right.
It's a cycle.
So, I mean,
vicious cycle.
Yeah, it's a vicious cycle out in the universe.
I mean, I like Vader on the list. I don't know if he's 3. I think we have better options.
Mayor?
How do you guys feel?
I think we got better options too.
Yeah.
I mean, I would as the ones we've mentioned, I would like Homer Simpson here.
I think Homer's a good 3.
Over Cliff?
Yeah, I think Simpsons is more popular than the Cosby Show.
See, but here's my argument. Cliff Huxtable is so popular that there was a character on The Simpsons that was based off of Cliff Huxtable.
That's true.
Huh.
I forget the name of the character, but that doesn't necessarily.
Forget the name, but Dr. Brian or something like that, but you know exactly what I'm talking about.
I do. Well, yeah.
Yeah.
It seems like
I'm okay with Homer 3, Cliff 4, but either way, they're right next to each other.
You don't want Cosby on the podium.
Yeah.
You just don't want.
You don't want to put no metal around his neck.
Can't argue with that.
Yeah, I think you can put Huxtable at 4, but yeah, you think that Homer? I could see Homer as 3.
Before we put it in there, can I just throw one more in for maybe a top 3 position?
Yeah.
I had it number 3, and this is harkening back to a couple weeks ago when we were talking about heroes. But your dad, when you're like 6 or 7 years old, that guy's great.
A lot of people, not everybody.
I mean,
that's what it comes down to again.
But not everybody again.
We're gonna have the same argument we had on Heroes. It's, you know, your dad. I could put Morgan's dad on this list if you want.
Yeah, but only when I was like 6 or 7.
Yeah, I mean, if I think,
you know what I mean? Because go ahead.
If God is debatable, then our own dads are going to be pretty debatable. You know,
That's fair. That's a good point. That's a good point.
I don't think that it would surpass Huxtable, but let me put one more in consideration because this is my next highest ranking, and maybe this might be because it's been consumed. Well, this probably came out. Marlon.
Yeah,
Nemo's dad.
I have Marlon top 5.
Nemo.
Who?
Marlon, Nemo's dad from Finding Nemo.
Get out of here, bro.
He's in my top 10.
Bro, Marlon is going to be on this list.
Fucking kid.
Marlon's going to be on this list.
Get it together. Not a good dad. Bad dad. Bad
no,
dad.
you did exactly what you're supposed to do. How are you going to say that God the Father challenges us through having like independent trials and letting you stretch yourself? Oh, that's exactly how he lost him. He was trying to let him grow. He's a single dad. All right. Tragically, got his wife. His wife was eaten, I think.
Yeah.
Lost all his other kids, and his whole identity is built on the journey to go find his son. I mean, as far as like knowing, I mean, everything that he is dad. That's, you don't even know about his existence outside of his life, except for the fact that he is a dad going to save his son.
Yeah, and
You're making very good points, but you lose
Morgan,
your dad and you lose your girl and your son. You can't be on my list.
No, Morgan. I think you underestimate what Marlon did. Marlon didn't lose his son. His son got kidnapped at school.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
What's he supposed to do? How weird would it be if your dad was just watching you at school constantly? Your dad is not supposed to be watching you at school. That is the school's fault for losing him. And then Marlon went on some Taken shit, but instead of Eastern Europe, he did the entire Pacific Ocean.
You're making good points.
The entire Pacific Ocean.
Hands up, bro. You guys are getting me.
I think you got to rewatch Finding Nemo, bro, because Marlon is such
I do have to rewatch Finding Nemo.
Marlon
Yeah,
is such a G and such a good dad. I had him in my top 5.
Yeah, when was the last time you watched it, Morgan?
Maybe 6-7 years ago.
Okay, yeah, because I walked in on it on like it was on like some TV, and I just watched it, and it was like, wow, this is such a great what it's like to be a father movie, what it's like to have, like, it's like, that's something, if I ever have kids, that's a movie I will watch with them. Like, that is a parent movie.
Yeah, Dustin's
I
point
cut
was
out
so
for a second there too, but did you point out in there too that Anne, along the way of his journey to go find his son, essentially adopts a special needs friend?
Yep.
Damn, that's a good point.
Yep.
And cares for her and like helps her and sets up a franchise for her. Like, I mean, pretty good dad, pretty good provider, caring.
Those are complete father-like attributes. Yeah.
Yep. I mean, I think Dustin's point of he doesn't exist outside of being a dad is what makes him such like an iconic. He was one of the first names I wrote down when I was thinking of great dads.
So same here.
Is there? Let me ask you. Go ahead.
Well, I would say he's such a good dad that you don't even know his name. You just know him as Nemo's dad. I mean,
That's in Mufasa over Marlon.
Mufasa's dead.
Yeah, Mufasa sucks. I agree.
Yeah,
he's a whack ass dad.
Yeah, he didn't even raise his kid.
Now, Mufasa, when he was up in the stars, that's a good dad.
Mufasa,
but like the actual living Mufasa, nah.
Mufasa was a good dad, but also
he tried.
Yeah, not enough.
Got.
Let me ask you this: are there any other Disney dads on your list?
I have Mufasa on the list because of how iconic he is for being a dad, but no, Marlon is Marlon.
I had Mufasa at 11. I do have one other Disney dad that I think is underrated, and I don't know if he'll make the list, but Goofy from a Goofy movie.
Ooh, that's a good dad.
Yeah. There's a strong argument.
That's a good ass dad.
Yeah. Because the kid hates him the whole movie, but he still stays there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that shit is powerful. I do think Marlon should be talked about higher than Goofy.
So now the question
is Marlon higher than Cliff Huxtable?
The age-old question that everyone has to deal with. Is Nemo higher than Cliff Huxtable?
Yeah.
I mean,
why are we here? Why is there suffering in the world? And is Cliff Huxtable and Marlon a better dad? I mean, these are eternal questions.
My vote is for Marlon. But I'll say that because I never really watched The Cosby Show. So I know who he is. I know like how iconic he was. I don't have a personal connection to him.
I mean, I would go Cliff just in the sense of, at the end of the day, he was called America's dad. Okay. Marlon was called Nemo's dad.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's fair.
You know what I mean? Like, at the end of the day.
Yeah. So
that's a pretty big distinction.
We're putting him 4?
I would like to.
All right. I'm cool with that. Can we put Marlon 5 for now?
I think so. I think Marlon has a strong 5 case. I think we're looking at our top 5 right here.
Is Huxtable Huxtable?
Huxtable.
Jace.
All right, I'm putting Marlon 5, and then we'll see what happens. Damn, this is. I can't believe Bill Cosby's in our top 5.
He is not. Huxtable.
Cliff Huxtable.
They are different people. They are different people.
You got to stop saying that.
All right.
No Bill Cosby. Disavow.
All right. Do we talk about Vader here? Do we talk about Danny Tanner? I also have Tim Taylor if we're going TV dads. Kind of boring, but also not a great dad.
Home Improvement, but this is a top. You know what I mean? There are other better dads.
I got a real dad. I think we can give a nod to.
All right.
Richard Williams.
Is that Serena Williams?
Yeah, Venus Williams' dad. Yes.
I would not know who he was if there was not a movie coming out.
Yeah, same.
Right. And do we know his story? Is it like one of the? Are we in like a Tiger situation where we're like, was that good parenting?
Yeah. He saw an opportunity for his kids to dominate tennis and make a bunch of money, and got him into tennis, and they made a bunch of money.
Yeah, but it's like, okay, but here's the thing. Here's like from where they came from to where they got.
Sure.
Like he has so much to do with that.
Sure.
Right, but so did Joe Jackson.
I don't like the way you were just saying sure so dismissively. That's like so disrespectful to that man and those girls' fucking journey.
That's Dustin brings up a good point.
Sure.
In terms of famousness for being a dad in entertainment, Joe Jackson is way above.
I agree. Yeah, he's way more famous.
Like I said, I did not know Richard Williams' name until about 2 months ago when I saw.
Yeah, but that's on you.
No, that's
on
on
Richard Williams.
That's culture.
I didn't know his name.
Culture.
I didn't know his name either, bro.
It's not. No, it's not, because if you've ever paid attention to the Williams sister story, they would always like, and there's the father who did all this shit to get them out of fucking Compton and into all these crazy country clubs playing tennis. That's them to all this shit at like an early age. Yeah, I'm sorry you're not a big tennis fan either, but I'm saying like, you can't dismiss that part of the story just because you don't know it.
I'm sorry I missed that episode of E60.
Yeah, pick a better sport than tennis if you want to be more famous. That's the end of that. That's how that works.
I'd put fucking LeVar Ball above Richard Williams, bro.
Yeah, and that's because you're a jackass.
No, I just think Serena and Venus.
He had 3 kids who were 6'6" and they got them to play basketball.
He's smart. He's just as smart as Richard Williams.
No, he's not.
Yeah,
Matt.
I mean,
It's
Venus
He's a
and
businessman.
What the fuck are we doing here?
Venus and
What's
Serena
happening?
are pretty.
No one's making a movie about LeVar Ball.
Not yet. His kid just started.
No, they never will.
Yeah, you don't think there's gonna be a LeVar Ball movie?
Resides at Serena and Venus, bro.
If you don't think there's
what are we talking about?
Morgan, if you don't think there's gonna be a LeVar Ball movie, you're insane.
Not a nationwide Thanksgiving release. There's gonna be a LeVar Ball movie maybe on BET. Maybe.
I forgot we only.
And
count
even
movies.
then, they probably won't do it.
I forgot we only count movies that are released on Thanksgiving. That's my fault. I'm sorry.
No, I'm just saying, bro. You can't look. If a LeVar Ball movie comes out, and if there's a different movie we're talking about, Will Smith is not playing LeVar Ball.
Okay, none of this has anything to do with what you're trying to say, though, bro.
I also have Will Smith on the list.
I do too. I have Will Smith on my list.
I have Will Smith on my list too.
Yeah, that's way more. He's way more famous than the guy he's playing, whose name I just found out.
Yeah, bro. Richard Williams.
But the guy he's playing is just a dad. Will Smith is famous because he's an actor and he's done all this stuff. We're giving a lot of love to Fresh Prince today, which I do like.
Richard Williams is not going to make this list.
Yeah, that's fine. I've seen. Yeah, because your attitudes as soon as I brought him up. That's okay. But let's. You know what? Put them on honorable mention right now. Put them on honorable mention right now. Do it. You can't see me pointing.
We're just saying, by your standards.
You're just missing all his accomplishments for fucking the fish guy.
Let Dustin talk. Let Dustin talk.
By your standards of why you're considering him, we're saying there are more famous, iconic versions of him.
Mm-hmm.
And I like Richard Williams, and I'm like, when I'm of the age that when the Williams were big, you would turn to him all the time. Not as much as you heard about Tiger's dad, and certainly not as much as you heard about Joe Jackson. Like that narrative, that dad pushing the kid, and then to their greatness thing, like that exists on, I think, a more known level than Richard Williams. He might have been a better.
Sure.
I think he might have been a better dad than those other two guys.
Hopefully.
Yeah, I was gonna say my argument for that is that actually being a better dad is staying the fuck out the way and letting your kid shine.
Yeah. I don't disagree with that, but it might not.
Like I
be
said,
That's way more of the dad move. Like, yo, look how fucking awesome my kids are.
It's
I
not
don't need
top
the
10
attention.
Good dads, as we've said before.
Yeah.
You guys hate fathers, bro. I don't want to fucking do this. Sitting here with 3 non-fucking athletes. I don't know about you, Dustin, but you 2 motherfuckers over here, you don't know. You don't know.
We know Tiger's dad. We know Tiger's dad.
Yeah, you know Tiger's dad because he was a bad guy.
We know Steph. I know Steph's dad.
I did.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he played in the NBA, Ehsan.
I know the
He was
Manning.
on the Warriors.
I know the Manning's dad.
Once again, also played in the NFL.
Yeah. Archie Manning was on my list, which is going to make you furious.
I'm just gonna say it right now. This list is becoming anti-black. This is crazy.
What are you talking about? 3 of the top 5 are black.
I'm joking. I'm half joking. But
3 of our top 5 are black.
Uncle Phil, God, Cliff Huxtable, and possibly Marlon.
Possibly Marlon.
Yeah.
I don't like the disrespect Richard Williams.
Zero white people on our list so far, just so you know.
Yeah, we do.
Who?
I can't see the list.
Uncle Phil, God, Homer Simpson. He's yellow.
He's white, bro. Fuck out of here. Shut up with that shit. This is like Indiana or some shit.
Morgan, you got to drink coffee before the show.
I do have to drink coffee. Yeah, I need to smoke a little weed.
You're grumpy.
A little hyped up. I'm not grumpy. Just don't disrespect Richard Williams like that.
Earn our respect.
Wait, well, Dustin, who'd you have at 6? Or if we haven't said anyone in your top 5?
Yeah. Let's see here. We said here. My next highest ranking in my top 5 is Clark Griswold.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Good dad.
Good one.
That's a good dad.
I don't know if you're gonna get a lot. There's a couple things that you go, maybe he's like a little cheat, on like does what he wants to do, but that comes from a good place. And then he does almost cheat on his wife, and his son almost sees it. But those are almost. And again, the dad standard is so low. If we're putting Homer above, I think he didn't actually do anything wrong except maybe flirt with that blonde in the car or whatever. So Homer
almost cheated too.
Yeah. Almost is. There's a real gray area there.
Who doesn't almost cheat all the time?
Right.
Nothing wrong with testing the waters.
Yeah, Chevy.
That makes you a better dad because you had the option to leave. You just want to know if you still got it, but you came back to your family.
That's a great point. It's easy to cheat when you don't have the option, and Griswold did.
Yeah, I mean, I have seen none of the movies, and I know who he is. That's why he's on my list too. That's a big, I know who Clark Griswold is. I know that's Chevy Chase. I can't tell you a thing about him, but I know that he is a famous dad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wrote him down. I didn't put him in my top 10, but that's just kind of the same as Ehsan. It's just like I didn't really watch those movies growing up.
We get it. I'm old.
Well, if it makes you feel better, Chad is suggesting Mike Brady, who I'm assuming is the dad of the Brady Bunch.
Yeah.
Oh, Tom Brady's dad.
That's funny.
I thought it was Tom Brady's dad too. So that kind of goes against that.
Yeah.
I mean, Mike Brady may be the 9th best character in Brady Bunch.
Right. You do give it up for any dad that merges a family. That's not easy.
Sure.
But we also don't know. We don't know a lot about. We don't know why he got divorced in the first place.
It's because he hit his wife.
We don't know a lot of the. Yeah, exactly. And so, he's such a forgettable character on the Brady Bunch. You're like, oh yeah, there was a dad. I only remember that from the intro song, and then nothing else. The nanny did more fathering in the home.
Alice. Was that her name?
Alice,
also, in the song, he's the first character they mentioned too, and we don't even remember him.
Yeah.
There was a story of a man named Brady.
They don't even say his first name. I didn't know his first name was Mike.
They don't even give him a name.
He's just Brady.
Yeah.
Mr. Brady. We can put Clark Griswold here for now, I think.
I'm good with Clark.
He might move down.
I think Clark's gonna move down.
I do too. Well, let me
yeah, go ahead. Sorry, go ahead.
My number 6 was kind of Uncle Phil light. I had Carl Winslow.
Ooh.
But I do.
Dad, yeah.
Wait, I still want to talk about Danny Tanner. I think he deserves more respect.
Well,
I want to talk about Archie Manning.
All right.
Yeah.
No.
What do you mean no?
No, get Archie Manning out of here, bro.
Why? Why
You
get him
know
out of
those
here?
kids had to overcome? He was a loser.
He was a loser as a player, not as a dad. He's a loser as a player.
He's a loser in the NFL.
Credit.
We're not talking about football players. We're talking about dads.
Yeah, no, Peyton had some shit. But
What?
Archie, really? I said Peyton had some shit. They wouldn't even invite him on the television show.
Well, yeah, of course he's old. He's probably close to death. What are you talking about? It would be so depressing to watch Archie Manning on that show. You'd be like, damn, let this man rest.
maybe grandfathers. No, get him out of here.
Wow. I mean, I think to put two kids into the league when they were already raised a little bit in the spotlight, and what I like about the Mannings is they still like have a very public, good adult relationship with each other. Like all the siblings get along, and they get along with their dad very publicly. Which having a good adult relationship with your siblings and your kids is very hard to do, especially under public eye and public scrutiny. Plus, he helped advise him out of San Diego, which was a great career move by Eli. So I think pretty good dad stuff there, which is not, and this is not, to knock Richard in any way. I don't know as much about
Feels
that.
Like it. But just putting that out there.
I don't know what the Williams sisters say about their dad. That to me is an unknown. But you do know what the Manning boys say about their dad, and the third son, who apparently was more athletic than all of them.
Yep.
And seems to be doing well in life. They all get along. The unit seems strong, which is on the dad.
They're in This Is Sports Center commercials together. All three of them.
Yeah.
And the two kids he raised. One is a top 3 quarterback of all time. The other demolished the best quarterback of all time.
Guys, I'm the biggest Giants fan you'll meet, and neither one of them compared to Serena Williams.
That's true. That's not to do with dad. That's to do with Serena Williams.
I think Peyton Manning and Serena Williams are very comparable.
I do too.
And Eli Manning and Venus Williams are also very comparable.
No, because he was getting his ass kicked by this other guy for fucking his entire career.
Peyton has a winning record against Tom Brady in the playoffs.
Whereas Serena just dominated.
Yeah, but when Serena lost, she lost very sorely. Famously sorely.
Also,
that's true.
Also, if football was
true.
Losing with class is so fucking overrated,
bro.
Yeah.
Okay. First, if football was a one-on-one sport, Peyton Manning would be Serena Williams.
If what?
If football was a one-on-one sport,
he would. Tom Brady, Serena Williams.
Sure.
Let's stop rewriting Peyton Manning's history because we talked about 15 years.
He might be the second greatest quarterback of all time.
Huh? I just think Archie Manning is definitely way more famous than Richard Williams, and it's not even.
Yeah, I'll give you that. But he's way more famous than Richard Williams because he was the New Orleans Saints quarterback for fucking 15 years, and then he put 2 sons in the league. Richard Williams came from nowhere, and made all this for his family,
and went to tennis.
That's better dadding, huh?
Yeah, but he went to tennis.
But it's not better dads. This is not the question of who is a good dad. This is a question of the top 10 dads, and we always talk about.
Ehsan, before you say anything else, I will acquiesce the Richard Williams things, and I'll give you guys Archie Manning.
Acquiesce.
I just want this to be known. This is an injustice. Richard Williams he's a better father. All you know him for is being a father. If those kids never make it to the league, Archie Manning's still Archie Manning, Hall of Fame quarterback.
I don't know. I thought you said he sucked.
He's not in the Hall of Fame. No one would know who Archie Manning was if it wasn't for Peyton.
Yeah, they would, bro. He played a really long time for the Saints.
Not a chance.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
I'm gonna do some of my own research here. I'll be back. You guys keep going.
Well, no. I'll look it up on my phone right now. Archie is definitely not in the Hall of Fame. Definitely not. So
no, he was a guy that it would be like. If Rich Gannon had 2 kids that went into the league, you're like, oh yeah, Rich Gannon. He was okay for a while, right?
Yeah.
That's what Archie Manning was. He wasn't some
a
household
stud
name, gigantic star,
Yeah, he only made 2 Pro Bowls. So
yeah, 2 Pro Bowls, SEC Player of the Year.
Yeah, it's like, bro, can you name the SEC Player of the Year from 1969? No. The only reason why we know,
it was Archie Manning.
It was actually Archie Manning. I had to pick a random year, and it was actually Archie Manning. But can you name 1968? You feel what I'm saying? Like, you can't. The only reason why we would know that is because Peyton and Eli.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm done arguing. You guys can put him on there, but just no in protest.
I think he's a better. I think he should be on the list above Clark Griswold.
No, maybe. I don't know. We don't have
a sports dad on this list yet, and sports dad is an archetype.
We could.
And I do think that if
we got a perfect one just sitting there.
It's real like toss up. If it's a between and the final deciding factor is real fictional, I like real dad going up.
Yeah, I
agree.
I think we should get a real one as high up as we can.
Is Archie our best real dad? Wow, man, there's
not
a lot of good dads out there.
Sports dad we could use. LeBron James is a phenomenal sports dad.
I don't know anything about him being a dad.
Yeah,
you don't know anything about LeBron James being a dad?
Bronny.
You've never seen him on the sideline on ESPN at Bronny Jr.'s games?
I know he argues with the refs at high school games sometimes.
Yeah, that's sports dad.
I mean, Archie, well, whatever. And as in terms of being a dad, bro, in terms of being a dad, Archie Manning is known for being a dad more than LeBron James is known for being a dad. LeBron James is still an NBA superstar.
Yeah, there's a bunch of...
if you name everything LeBron is, dad is far down on the list.
Draymond Green called the bitch and gave him the nut, and he said, watch yourself, father of three. That's dad shit.
I mean, maybe it's shit.
More NFL players. There's a lot of NFL fans currently that probably couldn't name what team Archie Manning played for. There's probably a lot of NFL fans out there like that, for sure. Whereas,
I mean, it was fucking 60 years ago, or 40 years ago.
But so the overall point being is that, like you say, LeBron, but LeBron is known for also being LeBron, right? Like he's sure. But Archie. There's a lot of NFL fans that couldn't name what team he played for. But they could name who Bart Starr played for. That's older than Archie Manning. They could name who Johnny Unitas played for.
I'll say this. If we did this list in 10, 15 years, LeBron would probably be higher. But for right now,
maybe. Mm-hmm. If someone were to say who is Archie Manning, I would say that's Peyton and Eli's dad. If someone were to say who is LeBron James, I wouldn't say that's Bronny's dad. I would say that's NBA superstar LeBron James.
I think what we're learning is if you're going to be considered like a top 10 dad of all time, you probably can't be on any other top 10. Like, if you are a top 10 basketball player of all time, you're probably not going to be a top 10 dad.
Yeah.
You're just, like you said, you're just known for that thing.
All the people on our list are, when you think about them, you think about how they're dads. You see them in the role of being a dad.
No, I agree with you. I'm not going to bring his name up again, but...
I already forgot it, to be honest. I forgot his name. That's how I talked to.
It's Richard Williams. Show him some fucking respect.
You said it. You said it.
Coward.
In less than 10 seconds, you said his name again.
Yeah, because disrespect is insane. Will Smith doesn't play bad people in movies.
So do we want to go Archie above Clark?
I do, yeah.
Is that the move? Dustin, how do you feel about that?
I feel pretty good about that. I'm glad that we got a real life human on the list.
Yeah, I do. I have two other real humans on mine. We said Will Smith already. I also have Obama. But based on the past conversation we just had, I think he kind of falls off the list. Yeah,
Obama. I wrestled with Obama for a bit, but it's like he's famous for so much more.
Yeah, I wanted more real people, and he was a name that popped into my head.
I had Will Smith and I had Martin Sheen.
Oh yeah, that's a good one.
Oh man,
I mean, if we want to put a real person, I just thought of it now. John Witherspoon is one of the most famous on-screen dads, and he's an actual dad.
Yeah,
he's Pops from the Wayans brothers. He's Craig's dad in Friday.
Yeah, I do want to say this. We might be biased for him being an actual dad because we actually know his kid, and that's a whole different thing. I don't know, you know what I mean?
But if you ask anybody who's John Witherspoon, most people are going to say Pops or Craig's dad.
Right. Yeah, that's a good point. And he was also on Rogan with his child, which is like
Yeah, that's like, come on, bro.
That's all-time dad move there to get your son on Rogan. That's pretty.
Yeah.
I think you have more than even Martin Sheen. I think John Witherspoon has a good. I think that's a good bring up.
Yeah, that's a really good one. He definitely deserves to be on that list somewhere.
Is he top 10?
Where, but man, to be known both as, that's a pretty impressive move. To be known both, be an iconic fictional and real life dad. I don't know if we have anybody else who that's even.
And
the only person.
Two separate famous dads too.
Yeah. Right. Strong.
The only other real life dad I have that's like a famous like TV dad and real life dad was Jerry Stiller. He's George Costanza's dad and Ben Stiller's dad.
Yeah. Oh,
that's pretty good.
Oh, wow.
I
had him at 10.
Belong on the list. Yeah.
Go ahead, Matt.
I mean, I think they're both good suggestions. I don't think either are top 10. Looking at the names we have mentioned or haven't even mentioned yet, we only have 3 spots left, and I think they're just better options.
Yeah.
I do think they're good
Well,
points.
I mean, we can get Nemo or Marlin, whatever the fuck his name is, the fuck out of here at any time.
He's not coming off.
Fucking Archie Manning's goofy ass.
I mean,
you gotta put next to Marlin. You gotta put Nemo's dad though. You can't just put Marlin.
I think people will.
Yeah.
No, I don't think people will know. I knew him as Nemo's dad.
Oh, you don't think people would know him by his first name?
No, he's Nemo's dad. That's what makes him. If we're just gonna put him as Marlin, he should be lower on the list. If it's that, he's got to put Nemo's dad next to it. Because I'm looking at the list right now.
Crazy, we gotta tell people who his son was, and he's number 5. Just putting that out there.
Yeah, that's good.
You're hella outnumbered on this, bro. We had a whole discussion about it.
I
You can't be doing this now.
Hey, bro, you guys got me with Rich Williams. I'm going down fighting. Right?
But like I said, are you not gonna add Nemo's dad on the list?
I could do it.
Yeah. Well, I think even above Clark Griswold, I do want to bring up Genghis Khan again. In terms of someone,
I do like Genghis Khan.
Someone's got to be just on pure volume of dad. Like at a certain point, we can't look away. We can't look away from that. Pure dad volume. Ain't nobody come close. At the basic thing on what it is to be a dad, the basic definition is to have a child. Ain't nobody put up numbers like him.
Yeah, all y'all son.
He's like Jerry Rice. Those records are untouchable. It's not.
You know who he is? He's Ricky Henderson.
Sheer
volume of years played, at-bats, like opportunity. He was in and around. Like it's just no one is gonna touch those records.
A lot of stealing. He's very.
You know what he used to do with his daughters?
What?
He used to marry them to like kings and shit of other places and then kill them so his daughters would be in charge. And then he'd just have that land.
Yeah, so he's a girl dad.
Oh, he's moving up to me.
Yeah, I like Genghis Khan here.
I think he should be above Clark Griswold. I think it should go Genghis Griswold.
I think I put Genghis Khan above Clark Griswold.
Damn.
I will say that putting Genghis Khan on this list makes me feel about having Walter White on this because I wasn't sure if he was a bad dad, and now we're throwing Genghis Khan in there.
I wrote Walter White down for sure.
It's an honorable mention.
I did too, yeah.
Yeah. I honorable mention. I don't think he makes the top 10.
Okay.
I mean,
so much of his identity is outside of being a dad.
Yeah.
He's
the meth dealer first.
And he really didn't do it for his kid.
But you don't know that until the final episode, though. Because everything, though he is the meth dealer and the drug lord, every time he's pressed on it, it's for his kids, his family. Every single. Now he's lying the whole time.
Yeah.
But again, that's a dad for you. I think of the drug, like to have that guy character be like a career that it's like known, like that, like iconic and distinctive, like the profession and life path, but for it still to be so tied in to the dad stuff, pretty impressive, I think, with the baby and a special needs kid and a small business owner. I mean, he was doing a lot. There was a lot of stuff he was doing.
Oh yeah, even past small business. He was running a big business. He was running almost a corporate level business. Yeah.
Yeah, he got to the level. Yeah.
Yeah, he helped kill the Mexican mob. Like he was not like that's a hostile takeover of a corporation. That's not a small business.
A small business that grew, I should say.
Yeah, which is very dad.
Yeah,
exactly. He modeled hustle to his kids. You know, there was a lot there.
He was opening his next hardware store, so to speak.
Yeah.
I mean, we still don't have Darth Vader on this list.
Yeah, no Vader.
Yeah.
I wanted to discuss the Full House dads as a unit. Because they're like,
I think
you could put Danny Tanner on there solely. You could also put Uncle Jesse on there solely. But I think if you put the three of them together with Uncle Joey, they're way more solid. That was a lot of co-parenting going on.
Yeah, I mean, Uncle Joey wasn't a dad, and Jesse wasn't a dad until late.
Well, it's like the third season.
I think Danny Tanner deserves a credit. He's a single dad raising 3 girls.
But are you a single dad if you got your 2 homeboys there who are also helping you raise the girls?
Yes.
Okay, all right. I'm just asking questions.
For sure. Yeah, I mean, he was my number 2 initially, so I want him to make this list. I think he's such an iconic dad, but Full House was always on in my house, so I don't know.
Oh, Full House, no Cosby Show. Interesting.
Yeah, my mom didn't like me to watch rapists.
Your mom was a rapist.
Yeah, she did.
Your mom had no idea.
He might be my dad.
She probably still doesn't know.
He might be her dad. I think. Well, I mean, what do we do with Vader though? I feel like Vader should be on this list, and I feel like he should be. He might be higher than Marlon, bro.
I think he's definitely higher than Genghis Khan.
He's higher than Archie Manning for sure.
So
yeah.
My issue
kind of repurposed. Go ahead.
My issue with Vader is he went 2 2/3 movies without anyone knowing he even was a dad.
Right.
Yeah, you can't be hiding it.
It was like a, you know, he has the biggest dad reveal, and in hindsight you can see that he was a dad the whole time, but he never really acted as a dad in the life that we knew him.
Right, but the issue being is, let's say we were to give this question, give us top 10 dads to the general public. I think most people would think of Vader pretty quickly.
Yeah, that's a good point.
He did really have a flair for the dramatic on the reveal, and that's really, you know, it's so hard because, yeah, like you said, like how much of his life was actually dadding, fathering? Very little.
Yeah.
I'd say almost none.
Almost none, yeah.
Almost none.
Literally until the very, very end.
His relationship to his kids they were more his enemies than his children.
Yeah.
Tried to kill him there for a while.
One of his hands off. Cut his child's hand off.
Yeah, that's not cool.
But man, he did have a real taste for the reveal.
And yeah, it's like maybe top 5 most iconic lines in a movie is him saying, "I'm a dad."
Yeah, if not number 1.
Yeah.
That's a different list. You should write that down. Movie quotes, because that could be number 1.
Yeah.
So it's like, I mean, I get moving him down now wanting him to have that high up a list, because he should get dinged points for not being an actual dad. But the reality is he's got to make this list.
Looking at it for me, I would put him at 6. I'd put him between Marlon and Archie.
I'm okay with that.
Yeah,
he's definitely above Archie Manning.
Here.
Yeah. If he did more parenting, then absolutely higher.
He could be higher, for sure.
Wasn't there?
I'm okay with that.
His kids, almost killed his own. He almost killed his kid's mom. Pretty rough.
Bad dad.
I like that I keep bringing it up as if that's a debate. I'm trying to convince you guys. We get it. He's the most evil villain in movie history. But
hey, my number 1 was Genghis Khan, the most evil man in history. So the bad dad isn't going to convince me of anything.
Who's the worst dad, Darth Vader or Thanos?
Ooh, Thanos at least rolled with his daughter for a while.
Yeah. Thanos,
he tried.
Thanos had at least some there was arguments to be made for his stance on things.
Yeah.
You know what I
Well,
mean?
true.
Vader had none of that, and he tried to at least involve his kids a little bit more.
Yeah. Oh, and Thanos genuinely loved his daughter. That's what made the fact that he killed her, which is crazy, way more heartbreaking. Because he actually loved her, and she didn't realize that he loved her. But
Yeah.
I don't know if Vader ever loved Luke.
Hates Luke. He repeatedly showed you.
Right.
Like he caught 10, but his intentions were way worse.
And yet here he is on our list.
Yep. and number 5.
Number 5.
What a wild list. What other list includes Uncle Phil God and Darth Vader?
I mean, this is all over the place.
So I think Clark is gonna fall off this list.
I do
if I'm
too.
being honest.
Yeah, me too.
He's just too old, I think. No offense.
I mean,
We put
Offense taken.
I will put this down. I will say this name because this also might be too old, but the fact that everyone still has to read it in school might be big. I have Atticus Finch as 10.
fuck him.
I wrote him down, but yeah.
Such
who
bare
cares?
minimum like celebration of a person. Like, no. He was just like the one not scumbag in his town. Everyone fucking loves him. I'm not a big
Sometimes that's all it takes, bro.
Huh? Yeah, I know. That's all it takes. For some dads.
Is that are we gonna talk about Mufasa?
Yeah, we can talk about Mufasa. We have Mufasa and Goofy still.
Yeah.
Well, I think Mufasa is more iconic than Clark Griswold.
I do too. Are we out on Danny Tanner? Can we figure this out? Because I can't get him out of my brain.
No. I think Danny Tanner's definitely on the list.
He got to be.
I
top
wanted to
10,
add
bro.
them together as a unit because I think it would make them stronger and have them higher. But Danny Tanner by himself is definitely on the list.
I think he can roll on his own.
Put him under Genghis Khan.
This is an absolutely generational thing. To have Danny Tanner and not Clark Griswold is a crime. That is more offensive than walking up and telling Richard Williams he's a bad father. This is more offensive than any thing.
Yeah. See, that's the thing. That's why I'm hesitant on Danny Tanner. Is that might be a generational thing.
Full House is a big show, obviously,
Huge.
but you go.
And he's the dad, and there's no mom, and he's the dad.
But why is there no mom? Do we know that?
She died.
How much?
He probably killed her.
she?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I
I never mentioned it, but if I'm doing the math now.
yeah.
Dustin just went, yeah. That's like right
Pretty
away.
nice house in San Francisco, dude.
But it's like
The insurance money?
he would be the only one on our list that didn't. I mean, Marlon, I guess, didn't have a wife, but everyone else had help. He didn't.
Not God the Father. I mean, I guess he had the Holy Spirit.
Isn't he married to
And
the
he gets-
church
he
or
had-
wi'hatever? God's married to the church.
He has the Holy Spirit, who's called the
God had
Helper.
help, Mary.
You're right. Yeah.
Yeah, but
I just think with Danny Tanner, you're like all that he did. I mean, to me, he is like the not even the JV. Like if Cliff Huxtable is varsity, and he's like freshman team. Like his speeches didn't land as well. The advice wasn't good. It wasn't like as heartfelt, and you knew his heart. Did his kids even like him? You know?
Yeah,
like,
they loved him.
I don't know.
yeah, there's way more. As someone who's watched both The Cosby Show and The Full House, there's way more episodes of The Cosby Show that I can remember than Full House.
Yeah.
And I watched
yeah.
pretty much every all the episodes because it was just on Nick at Night.
I remember them going to Jesse for a lot of questions. You know,
Which is why I want to bring them together as a unit. Let's call everything. They were ahead of their time, bro. Them girls had 3 dads.
The trinity of dads. It's
Yeah, we try and play Uncle Joey like he was just some dude living on the couch and shit. Like, no, he was in there daddying. They were all daddying together. If you bring them together as a unit, I think all 3 of them are on there. As a unit, the Full House dads. But just Danny Tanner on his own, he might not.
I mean, they weren't.
I mean,
They were
one was
parenting,
a
but they weren't
failing
dads.
Comic. He had there was a failing comic in the house. That's bad. That can't be. If you let a failing comic anywhere in your child's life, you are a terrible father.
Yeah, I was just as living the life. Oh yeah, I get that. Yeah.
Don't say that to my sister.
But yeah, like I think Dustin brought up a good point. I think at the end of the day,
Wow.
Tanner is the Griswold of our generation in that sense of like he is the dad, but for like you know what I mean. It's not as iconic the further you get away from it.
I think
And-
you've gotta put Mufasa on next. Mufasa, because I went on my first thought of Mufasa was like he didn't do enough because Simba was pretty young. But then you're like, I mean, now we're getting into like Nirvana territory. We're like, yeah, I mean, he kind of died in his prime. He was kind of an icon, and the legacy went on forever.
He died saving his kid.
Yeah, that's true. And trying to protect him from a bad family member.
Yeah.
I mean, pretty iconic.
Yeah. I mean, I
Find a way
think
to speak to him from the afterlife. I mean, that couldn't have been easy.
I mean,
I'd send Mufasa as the screen time.
I think at the very least, Mufasa could be above Genghis Khan.
See, I'd put him above Archie.
I think he could be above Archie as well.
Yeah,
I think he's
Mufasa's
crazy
gotta go up
iconic.
there.
Because y'all don't feel that strong about Archie. But
I personally, I don't.
Yeah. He's more iconic than Marlin, but he wasn't like he just didn't. I just feel like he didn't do enough dadding to get the nod, in my opinion, as the only father. I don't know who has kids here. I don't know your guys' lives. I
Just
don't know. We see each other at the store every once in a while. We don't know each other.
Yeah, no, none of us have kids, I think.
It just says I like that there's more active fathering.
Yeah, I mean, I think in terms of like characters, Mufasa's probably more iconic. In terms of being a dad,
I mean, Nemo's dad. The whole thing was centered on him being the dad.
Him being the dad.
So it's like it doesn't exist outside of that vacuum.
So we're fine with him at 7.
Yeah. And would you say level of iconicness, Nemo versus Lion King? Lion King is a little more iconic, but
yeah.
But
in terms of dad, I mean, I wrote Marlin above Mufasa in my initial thing. So
yeah.
So we have 10. I do think there's still changes to be made, though.
I mean, I got a couple guys I'd like to throw out. Phil Dunphy.
Phil Dunphy is a good one.
Great dad.
Yeah, last like 15, 20 years, he's the number one TV dad for me.
Yeah.
For sure.
Really? Number one TV dad?
Of the last 15 years?
For the last 15 years, yeah.
Oh, last 15 years. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that sticks out. Yeah.
You know what hurts Phil?
Kids went off air. He's the number one TV dad.
What's it called? You know what hurts Phil Dunphy, I think, is just the sort of decline of network television.
Yeah. For sure.
Because like more people know Romano as a dad, like longer, like over the scope, more in the zeitgeist, and he was a good TV dad, but Dunphy is a better TV dad.
Yeah.
Romano.
Well, I think if Dunphy happened at the time Romano was happening, I think he'd be on that iconic level. The problem with Dunphy is, so the first half of the show, first couple seasons happened when people were still watching network. By the last few seasons, I didn't have TV that had ABC, right? So it's it was just, I had no idea what went on in the back half of those seasons.
Yeah,
I would just see promos. I'd be like, "Oh, Adam Devine's on this show." Apparently, that's my relationship with Modern Family after a certain point.
Yeah, that's hilarious.
I round out my list. I had 2 more sports dads. I had Harbo's dad, just because it's wild for both of your sons to be playing against each other or coaching against each other in the Super Bowl, and Ken Griffey Sr. But Ken Griffey Jr. was one of the coolest people in my childhood. They got to play on the field together at the same time.
Oh my gosh. As a Seattle 90s kid, I am ashamed that I didn't have Ken Griffey Sr. I mean,
okay, just bring that same energy you had for Archie Manning for Ken Griffey Sr.
Ken Griffey Sr. here.
Back-to-back home runs with his son in a game. That's incredible.
Some incredible moments for both of them.
Yeah.
Played with him. There's that famous moment where Ken Griffey Jr. steals the ball from his dad in the outfield.
Oh, so good. I would love to see him on this list, but I don't know if we can do it.
If you feel like if you look back, you can just find so many cool pictures of probably just like Ken Griffey Jr. in the dugout with his dad.
Cool.
Just
cool.
family shit all around.
Such a good dad that he made his name more famous for his son. I mean, that's some good dad stuff. This is one that will not make the list, but this is a total wild card. Is Darwin. Darwin, very famously, on a science set, right? Obviously the father of, evolutionary theory and all that kind of stuff, but 10 kids, and the story goes that when one of them died, that's why he left the faith, which is some good dad stuff. Mourning your child so much that you gave up on what we said is the number 2 dad of all time. So,
You were like, I'll be
You're
my
right.
own dad.
yeah. So him and Mark Twain were my actual, like, probably good real dads, but
Yeah.
they're just not iconic enough to make it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
I thought of both of them too, and I was just like, I don't think they'll make the list, but they should be talked about for sure, at least mentioned.
As actual good parents, yeah.
Yeah. Mark Twain is such a G, bro. I love that guy.
Who?
Mark Twain?
Mark Twain, yeah.
Mark Twain essentially invented what we do.
Yeah.
Which is he would travel and just go do monologues, like humorous monologue type things, and it was just him.
Yeah.
Yeah, the sort of father of stand-up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if we're doing that too, maybe he sneaks in. I don't know. I don't know who you take off this list for Mark Twain though.
Right, that's a tough
I
call.
don't think Mark Twain makes this
Come
list.
on, Mark Twain.
Oh, shut up, Morgan. He doesn't play sports. You probably don't know who he is.
I know Mark Twain. He's just a fucking author, bro. But no.
Oh, he's just an author. Oh, yeah.
I have
Yeah, just Richard Williams is just some dad. Yes. Same thing.
Well, for me at 12,
He literally just is a dad.
I had Uncle Iroh at number 12. I know he's not going to make the list, but I want to give a shout out to anyone who's seen Avatar. That's probably, I mean, he's up there in the pantheon of, to me, great characters. Like, he's up there with, like, the Cerseis and the...
What's his name?
And that Uncle Iroh. Then I have Ned Stark at 13. And then Tony Soprano at 14.
Yeah,
Tony
Soprano. I wrote
Soprano's good,
Soprano down.
What do you guys think about Thomas Wayne, Batman's dad?
He sucked.
No.
No, he was a good dad. He's a great father. Gave birth to both, created obviously Bruce Wayne, and then his death created the greatest, the most iconic superhero of all time.
Second most.
Yeah,
No,
according
as far
to
as iconic,
according to us, second most.
okay, yeah. Sorry, I didn't catch that one. I'm actually more qualified to argue on that list than this one. But his fortunes are what bankrolled Batman. So he was literally created Batman as a person and as a superhero, and then he bankrolled him the whole way too. And I will say, of superheroes, he is the one that you tie most closely to his. I guess it's the death of his parents, though. It's beyond just Thomas Wayne. I don't feel you guys resonating even 1% with me on this list.
No, I think those are good points. I think they're all good points.
Yeah. Well,
I was just waiting for you to be done talking so I can call Batman a terrorist.
That's
chat.
accurate.
One person from chat said Jack from This Is Us, and I just want to say no. That's bad.
Ooh. No.
That's bad.
Don't play Jack, bro. You watch the show?
No, exactly, and that's the point. It's the depth of network.
Yeah, that's fine. The network TV, whatever. But like 6 million people watched a week, and he'd be doing some daddying, dude.
Also, I don't know if
He'd be doing some daddying.
I don't know if you can scroll up in the chat, but the comment before that was, "What about Venus and Serena's dad?"
No, thank you. Hell yeah.
I will say this: above that is Lonzo Ball's dad, so that came first before Venus and Serena's dad was LeVar.
Shut the fuck up, okay?
Hell yeah. All right, I have I guess 3 that I think I just want to mention before we're done. The first one is Al Bundy. I can't believe he didn't come up earlier. I never watched the show, but I know he's a famous dad. I have Papa Smurf.
Oh, Papa Smurf's an interesting one. Yeah.
Who's a G?
Was he the actual dad though? That was always weird. Were they his children, or was he just like the village leader?
Yeah. To me, I always kind of just saw him as a leader. I never saw him as their actual dad, but I don't know the logistics.
Yeah. Either way, if he's adopting all those Smurfs as his own, and they just all call him Papa Smurf, he gets a little bit of credit.
Yeah,
that's true.
Oh, speaking of adoption, Brad Pitt should be on this list.
Brangelina. Them together is a dad.
Yeah.
We're gonna
they could do if we do a parents list, they could make it. Kind of my wild card here was Mrs. Doubtfire.
I thought about it.
Yeah, I thought about Doubtfire too. Yeah.
Problematic. Not my 2021 list.
That's a good point.
I do want to bring up. I think do we have anything to challenge Griswold? Because I think Ken Griffey Sr. and Walter White can challenge Griswold here.
I put Griswold above both of them.
You'd put him over both of them?
Of those two, yeah.
You said who above both of them?
Griswold.
Oh.
But I also have people I'd put above Griswold. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think that anyone who was raised alive in the 80s for any substantial period of time would know those movies were the equivalents of Adam Sandler's movies in the 90s, and that they were the comedies. Those were they were just happening. Oh, so they are, and I'm trying to think. You don't really get movies like that much anymore, where it's a family or a certain character that goes on. They are kind of sequels with their own standalone things. So it is just a little of they've fallen out of the zeitgeist and but in their era, certainly I would say, and this kills me to say as a Mariners fan, but more iconic than Ken Griffey Sr. and Walter White. What? It's certainly more than Walter White. Ken Griffey Sr. That one I keep going back on. That one's pretty solid.
The fact that his name is Senior, I think, really helps a lot too.
Yeah. I want him on the list. I want Ken Griffey Sr. on the list.
Well, it's also because his son went by Junior too.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, it wasn't Ken Griffey, and then you found out he was a junior later, which happens with some athletes.
He was always Junior.
Yeah.
I mean, this is kind of your guys' call. I didn't watch baseball ever.
But you knew who Ken Griffey Sr. was, right?
I've heard of him, yeah.
Yeah.
If you showed me a picture of him, I probably wouldn't tell you that was him.
Yeah, but and then this is the issue.
I know they played together.
Yeah, this is the issue is the same with Griswold is whose iconicness fades over time a little more. Griswold or Ken Griffey Sr. And I think as baseball becomes less and less popular, which seems to be what's happening right now.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I mean,
I'll say this. I think, because I'm trying to think of the generation younger, right? This is what I always try to put myself when we do these lists in my sister's shoes, who's in college right now. It's there's a better chance I think for her, and this is also because of who she is as a person, where she would have seen the National Lampoon, all the vacations before she would know who Ken Griffey Sr. was.
Right. Yeah,
but I don't know if we should use your sister, who's super into anime, as the barometer of.
Well, she's not super into anime. Relax. You're thinking of me. You're thinking of me.
Anime too.
Huh?
Isn't her username something anime related?
No, it's her name.
No. All right, never mind.
Yeah.
Now I'm being racist. Let's move on.
Something anime related. It's just a regular ass name.
That's pretty funny. That's a pretty great moment. I think that if you're thinking about because families watch the family vacations together, baseball is going to be more siloed than
baseball's the ultimate father-son sport, though.
Yeah,
football
that is true.
Football is,
but
not anymore.
Football is,
and sons are only half the population. So I do think that I mean, obviously, I'm just thinking about my family. So my 3 kids. All 3 of my kids, boy, girl, will know who Clark Griswold is. And that's a 12-year-old girl and an 8-year-old girl. Because even if you guys missed the family vacations, my kids won't. Because my generation got the movie, which means we'll watch it. I'm not going to, as much as I would love to go watch 1996 Seattle Mariners games with my daughters, they're not going to, probably. So I think Griswold gets the nod. I
will say this for Ken Griffey Sr. He played in 3 All-Star games, won 2 World Series, is in the Cincinnati Reds Hall of Fame, and no one gives a fuck because they only know him as being a dad.
Which is pretty impressive. I'd like Griswold and Griffey on the list somehow.
We can go for tie too. There's no. I mean, we've established ties are okay.
No, just once.
Why no? Why no? I think it is funny to have a tie between Clark Griswold and Ken Griffey Sr. That's pretty funny.
Yeah, I mean, I don't like putting out ties that often. I think it's a special thing that should happen only when we actually have a tie.
Yeah, I feel like we're kind of
I feel like we're leaning towards something.
Yeah,
okay.
I mean,
I'm Griffey Sr. Dustin, you're Griswold. Ehsan, make the call.
I'm Griswold.
Because you're Griswold. Okay.
I'm Griswold.
I'm Griswold. I think at the end of the day, and this might be, I guess this is, I don't know if this is part of the criteria. This might be bad, but it's that the waning popularity of baseball, I think, hurts Griffey, and I think Griswold has a better chance of lasting throughout the time, lasting a longer time. To me. I mean, it's true. I mean, baseball. Like the reality is, the best player in baseball is Mike Trout, and there are more Lionel Messi jerseys in America than there are Mike Trout jerseys, and that's the reality of baseball. That's where it is now. And
Mike Trout's not the best player on his own team.
I mean, okay. Either way, I'll say this: there's more Lionel Messi jerseys than Shohei Ohtani jerseys. There's more Lionel Messi jerseys than any of the top baseball player jerseys, and that just is what it is.
Yeah, but we're not comparing baseball to soccer. I think that's a bad argument, but I'm okay with going Clark Griswold because we know Chevy Chase's actual kid, and she's
there's also that. We know his actual daughter.
I know that's why I'm saying I'm acquiescing once again.
Yeah, I mean,
shout out to Kaylee.
I put Griswold above Ken Griffey, but I do have 3 that I'd put above Clark Griswold. So.
Who?
What do you do?
What would be the 3?
Danny Tanner, Will Smith, and Goofy.
I mean, if we're going to talk about waiting popularity, we kind of got to get Goofy out of there.
Mickey Mouse Club will always be iconic till the world.
Yeah,
ends.
but he's not a dad in that. He's only a dad in the Goofy.
He's only in the Goofy movies.
All right, then Will Smith and Danny Tanner. But I feel like we've already
great dads. He is a great dad.
We've already talked off of Danny Tanner, so then let's talk Will Smith, and then maybe we're just done with it.
Yeah, I think this is the last argument here: Will Smith versus Griswold.
I like Will Smith more than Griswold. I think he's going to be around longer. I think his movies and the roles he plays as a dad are going to have more
his
lasting
kids
impact.
are famous too.
His kids
rule. His kids are awesome.
His kids are so dope.
Yeah, and when you consider, because you would already consider putting the character from Pursuit of Happiness on the list.
Yeah.
Right.
So he kind of encapsulates that. Yeah. Because he's, in some ways, he's just like, because of all the dad stuff, though he isn't known as much as a fictional dad as Clark Griswold, being that we're saying Clark Griswold and not Chevy Chase. You know? But you add the fact the actual good in the known world parenting. Yeah, Will Smith's strong argument there.
I think I would.
I hate to do this to you guys.
I would like Will Smith over Clark.
I hate to do this to you guys, but I just thought of one that I think we have to talk about. Even if you want to dismiss it right quick, John Q.
Oh.
No? All right.
Good dad. I don't think he makes the list. One intense movie.
I think he's a better dad than Marlon's dad, but
he had one day of being a good dad, bro. One day. Huh? He had one day of being a good dad.
Hey, Matt, sometimes that's all it takes.
And he went about it very wrong. He's actually going to jail.
I don't know.
His kid's going to get saved, but he's going to be in jail for a long time. That's not a good dad.
System let him down. It's you know what? His kid would have been dead without him.
Blame the system, sure.
Yeah, but I would have Will Smith over Griswold.
Yeah, me too.
Dustin, how do you feel about it?
I understand that I'm going to be in the minority on this one. That I think that as pure iconicness, but you know what? Ageism is a real thing, and I will be a victim of it for once in my life.
You handled it much better than I did.
But hold on, part of me thinks maybe Clark Griswold should stay on the list.
Well,
which one is it, Matt? You can't open this guy over Clark Griswold.
We can talk about it.
The knock on Will Smith is that there's so much outside of the dadness.
Yeah.
This is the issue with Will Smith, is that there's so much outside of the dadness, where it's like everyone here on the list is kind of, that's what they're known for. They're dads in some sense of the world. Whereas when you think of Will Smith, the fact that he's a dad is probably not the first thing when someone's like, tell me stuff about Will Smith. You probably don't go, oh, Jaden and Willow. That's not the first thing you think of.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah. Don't forget Trey. I'm not here for the Trey erasure.
That's more of a recent thing. Yeah, if you were to say who is Clark Griswold, you'd say the dad from National Lampoons.
Right. I think that, Will Smith is, when you talk about Will Smith, you say all his accolades and achievements, and then you go, oh, and I think he's a good dad, too. It's a total afterthought.
Yeah.
In real life, it seems like it. Seems like a real good dad, but I don't think of Will Smith as an iconic father.
Yeah.
He's just iconic.
Yeah.
Will Smith is iconic, absolutely. Yeah.
I think if we want to project a little bit toward the future, I think Will Smith eventually will be known as Jaden and Willow's father.
I think you're right. I
Hopefully.
think if you do this list down the line, you're like, oh my gosh, that's crazy, and it'll be like.
He should definitely He should definitely be honorable mention.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah. They'd be like, oh yeah, did you know Jane Smith's dad was in movies too?
All right.
You gotta put Richard Williams in the honorable mention as well.
Son, you ruined the joke.
No, I know. I'll stand up for Morgan on this one.
It's a fucking joke, okay? You're laughing. I'm not. Will Smith is playing that man who's just for being a good dad.
All right, so I think that's good, right? I think we got. Is there anybody I'm missing honorable mentions? I wrote down Ken Griffey Sr., Phil Dunphy, Goofy, Al Bundy, Mrs. Doubtfire,
Put John Witherspoon on there.
John Witherspoon. Yeah.
Yeah, I think
Yeah, John Witherspoon's good. Yeah. He does not deserve to be on the list, but Shaq had a great quote that was going around last week that I saw. Did you guys see this when he was talking about his kids? And he was saying, he was talking about how he wouldn't give them like any money towards their businesses or anything unless they graduate from college, because he tells them all the time, we're not rich, I'm rich.
That rules. That's so sick.
It's a very funny line. Yeah, it's so good.
Tony Soprano. And Walter White, are they in the honorable mention?
Walter White. I'll put on there.
Yeah. I mean,
Tony famous for the dad or famous for, yeah, I guess that's the same thing.
It's the same. It's the same. Like at Walter White, it's the same sort of. You know, to me, my favorite episode of The Sopranos is when he takes his daughter to go visit colleges. That's my favorite.
That's a great episode.
And leaves her.
My favorite episode is when Meadow brings home the Jewish black dude. Oh, yeah. And Tony asks him what do I have to say this in Swahili, and then sees Uncle Ben and passes
out. Has a heart attack.
It's the funniest thing I've ever seen on a television show.
Yeah, it was so funny. Well, it's funny too is that guy sucks too. He was a terrible dude.
So funny because you didn't have to revert to racism. This guy sucks.
The guy sucks. Yeah.
Morgan, just so we don't get canceled, I don't think it's Uncle Ben anymore. I think it's just Ben.
No, but if you're going to be historically correct, it was Uncle Ben in the television show.
Okay.
I'm referencing a television show from 1998.
Right.
So.
And thank you for sharing that with me, comrade. I've been watching a lot of the Democratic Socialists of America convention on TikTok.
Oh, it's amazing. It's amazing.
Incredible. That's just a plug for that if you want to see that. All right, so that's our list, right? That's the top 10 dads. We'll go down. Number 1, Uncle Phil. What a legend. Which also speaks to Will Smith. I mean, Will Smith even being considered on the list.
Take off whoever that is.
What?
On Richard Williams. I just saw that.
I'm just going through the list real quick. Number 1, Uncle Phil. Number 2, God. Number 3, Homer Simpson. Number 4, Cliff Huxtable. Number 5, Marlon, who is Nemo's dad, in case you don't know. Number 6 is Darth Vader. 7 is Mufasa. 8 is Archie Manning. 9 is Genghis Khan. 10 is Clark Griswold.
And this list, that is a wild ride, that list.
This doesn't look anything like I thought it was gonna.
If you go number 5 is Marlon, who's Nemo's dad, in case you don't know, and if you keep Richard Williams, whoever that is, that's so disrespectful.
I did it for both.
Yeah, but what number 5 number honorable mention?
I mean, we spent like 20 minutes arguing this. I think we could be done.
I
know.
This list is
fatherless motherfucker. I can't stand it. Worst dad, whoever raised Matt.
We can make that list. I'll agree. Dope. That was fun. Thank you, Dustin, for doing it.
Thanks for having me, guys.
Amazing list.
Your Instagram handle is on the Twitch stream, but plug anything else you want to plug real quick.
Yeah, just at Dustin Nickerson at everything, and I'd say probably where I put the most content out is YouTube with new videos every Sunday. If you go to Dustin Nickerson Comedy,
hell yeah,
I have a full comedy special that I can watch.
Lots of great stand-up clips and stuff on TikTok too.
Thanks, y'all.
Doesn't your podcast have a very dad name?
It's a podcast is called "Don't Make Me Come Back There."
Yeah.
yeah.
Classic.
Oh, we should put Dustin on honorable mention just for making us do this list. This was a very fun list.
I agree.
There was 1% of me that I thought maybe Matt and Ehsan are going to be like, you know what? This was an elaborate ploy to tell Dustin that we thought he was a good dad. But then when you gave me the "I think you're funny" compliment, I was like, well, that's more than you could ever ask for another comment. Good comic.
Fuck my kids.
I care more about that anyway.
Yeah, right. That's more important.
Yeah.
This is quite possibly one of my favorite lists, one of my favorite episodes.
Yeah, I'm excited to put this out and see all the backlash we get.
Yeah.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, for sure it's coming. All right, cool. I'm gonna end the stream. Dustin, you can hang out for a sec if you want. But thank you guys for
I
watching.
have to go pick my kids up from school very fittingly.
Wow, what a good dad.
Put number 10. Put number 10.
All right, I'll see you guys.
See ya.
Later.